the gods of kill. Because I have something worth fighting for. Let's see who you are and take off your disguise.
Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here and welcome back to another video on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And for today's video we will be breaking down the official trailer for Thor 4 Love and Thunder, and there are a lot of very interesting things to talk about, including our very first look at Christian Bale's Gorr the God Butcher, and we do have a couple of more shots of Natalie Portman's mighty Thor and many other things to go over as well, which is very interesting. But of course, before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Thor videos coming your way. Okay, so this trailer kicks off with Korg talking about Thor's story to a couple of blue aliens. And while that is happening, of course, we do see Thor protecting this alien race from the hands of a threat. Of course, over here, he is in his like Ravager Thor outfit. And yeah, Korg does essentially talk about Thor's transformation as well. So this will most probably be during the opening scene of the film, where we do have Korg talking about Thor's story. And as he does, we get to see this like montage of Thor working out, going from fat Thor to literal peak physique Thor during this film. But yeah, of course, during these first couple of scenes, maybe even just the first act of the film, which I doubt because this film is only 2 hours long, so things are gonna have to happen pretty quickly. We do have Thor still traveling with the Guardians of the Galaxy, so he is just out on an adventure with them. But this is until the threat of Gorr's forces and Gorr the God Butcher himself arrive, and that of course forces Thor to leave the Guardians and reunite with New Asgard and all that. But yeah, this shot of Valkyrie in this junkyard is the exact same place Thor was when he was fighting alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, pretty much confirming that this is actually Valkyrie that convinces Thor to come back to New Asgard. But yeah, we do then get the big reveal where we do see New Asgard being attacked by Gorr's forces, and Thor is of course at war fighting with Asgard. But this is when we have Mjolnir built back together flying towards Thor. Thor of course gets very excited about this. He tries grabbing it only to fly to Natalie Portman's Jane Foster herself. And yeah, Thor's reaction to seeing Jane fully suited up is great. It was pretty priceless. It was a pretty tacky helmet, but yeah, I don't know how long we'll be seeing it for. But yeah, it does seem like we'll be having a bunch of different Thor costumes in this film. Of course, we'll be having this one with like the gold sleeves and then that helmet. And then we'll be having one with like Thor's normal suit just with the blue and gold platings on the torso area, like without the helmet and without the sleeves. And then we'll be having two other suits, which is the Ravager suit, and then of course the other one which he has during one of the shots in the trailer where he uses Stormbreaker to transform, and of course during that scene when he first sees Mjolnir and he tries grabbing it. So we're going to be having a bunch of different costumes for Thor. Now there is something to pick out over here, and that is Thor is wearing two different costumes during this battle sequence. One with his first armor that he will be having during like the start of the movie, and then something will happen during this New Asgard village battle which ends up giving Thor his brand new blue and gold costume. So he's gonna manage to essentially level up in some way. However he manages to do that, I'm not entirely sure, but it will be pretty interesting to see how that all works out. So what I'm assuming is going to happen over here, like during this Mjolnir scene, Thor can't exactly pick out who it is that can wield his hammer. Like he's like, okay, who is this person that's kind of suited up like me and who can wield my hammer? Because after all, in this shot, Jane Foster is wearing a helmet, so it's hard for Thor to just pick out who it could be. But then later on in the battle, this is when we of course have Jane Foster taking off her helmet, and then we have helmeted Thor this time, and of course that's when Thor's just gonna go, huh, Jane, when did you ever get these abilities and all those sorts of stuff. So that is what's going to provoke this reaction. It's Jane Foster's reveal to Thor that she could also wield the hammer. We do then have a couple of really cool shots of Jane Foster's mighty Thor. We get this shot of Jane Foster flying Valkyrie's Pegasus, I believe. It is hard to tell who it is, but I'm pretty certain that it is Jane Foster. And I believe that this is also during the village battle sequence when we first saw Jane grab hold of the hammer. I'm only assuming that due to like the fire-ish background. Of course, I could be wrong, but I think this is earlier on in the battle because of course we do see Jane Foster wearing the helmet on as well. Now there's this shot in the trailer where we do have Jane Foster flying down this tomb, and you do see it in more detail later on in the trailer as well, but this is actually statues of, very powerful cosmic entities in the MCU, or just in the Marvel universe, not in the MCU yet. Well, technically yes, in the MCU, but some of them not entirely yet. But we do see the Living Tribunal, the Watcher, Death, and Infinity. I can't really pick out who the other one is, and that is the one in between Death and Infinity. I have no idea who that is. It's hard to tell, but the other ones you could quite pick out who they are. Now this could either just be a tomb of those cosmic entities, or these could just be examples of what Gorr has been after. These characters, however, it must be mentioned that they are like next level incredibly powerful beings, so it really depends on how powerful they make Gorr the God Butcher in the MCU. But yeah, we do then have Jane and Thor talking about when was the last time they saw each other. Now this is an important detail. Jane does of course say 3 to 4 years, when in reality Thor mentions that it's been 8 years, 7 months and 6 days. So this difference does pretty much highlight that Jane Foster has actually been snapped during the events of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Now we do then get this shot of this different planet. It looks like Asgard, but it isn't. And this is the planet where Russell Crowe's Zeus is going to be from. We do get more shots of Thor and Jane Foster together traveling this planet along with Valkyrie and Korg as well. But yeah, we do get some really sick scenes over here. We see this insane action shot such as Jane Foster's Thor just swinging the hammer, and then we have all those like shards and pieces falling out of the hammer, just attacking all the enemies and then flying back, forming the hammer. It just looked really sick, and I'm really excited to see Jane Foster's Thor in action because she's just going to be badass, especially with this new hammer's abilities. Now we do then get a couple of shots in this trailer with Thor facing off those gladiators as well. And he's of course in another attire. It seems like he's been stripped away from Stormbreaker and he's been stripped away from his armor as well. So it seems like there's going to be some sort of a plan going on over here. Maybe it was Thor's actual intention to get captured, saying that we do have Valkyrie and Jane Foster watching over Thor while he's facing off against these gladiators as well. Maybe they're waiting for Gorr to attack this place because that's where they're predicting that he will be. I don't know, but it will be interesting to see what's going on over here. Now we do then head over to this snowy area and we get this shot of Thor, and this is the same shot from the first trailer, but this is actually from the comics. It's like straight up ripped from a comic book, and this is where we have Thor coming across Falagar the Behemoth, and this is Thor pretty much witnessing firsthand how powerful Gorr the God Butcher is, because we do of course see Falagar the Behemoth dead over here, so clearly it's going to be Gorr that kills it. And yeah, we'll pretty much get Thor's reaction to this. Now, there is no breaking down this trailer without talking about the real deal. Gorr the God Butcher. He is claiming hold of the Necro sword over here, which of course is the sword he uses to kill the cosmic entities and the gods, and the more he does, essentially the more powerful he becomes, so that's essentially like the origin of the sword, if you will. I do really like the look of Gorr the God Butcher in this film. I know lots of people are mad that he doesn't look too comic accurate. It is very different, and he is totally different compared to his comic book counterpart, but I do really like it. Christian Bale does look incredibly menacing, especially with like the black and white color grading they go for when we see Gorr the God Butcher. It just looks really cool. Now we do also have this one shot of Gorr prior to his transformation, so this is essentially an origin story scene, so we will be seeing some sort of backstory and find out why Gorr is doing what he is doing. But yeah, essentially Christian Bale is definitely going to kill it as Gorr the God Butcher. He sold me in this trailer alone. But yeah, Gorr's origin is essentially that he was from a planet pretty much living in starvation. He seeks for help from the gods, however they don't answer back. And then after the death of his family, that was essentially the final straw, and he's essentially going after cosmic beings and killing them as they weren't there when he needed them. So that's pretty much his motivation. He goes around killing gods because of that. we do see Gorr claiming hold of the necro sword and stabbing it on the ground, essentially like causing this like wave of lightning, destroying an entire planet. So yeah, we do get like a taste of how incredibly powerful Gorr the God Butcher is, and it's just gonna be one hell of a fight seeing Thor and him facing off against each other. But yeah, we do have this really sick fight scene between Valkyrie and Gorr the God Butcher. We do see Valkyrie using Zeus's dagger. So judging from it, it does seem like we're going to be seeing Gorr kill Zeus at some point eventually, and then Valkyrie will claim the dagger. But yeah, of course, we do see Thor blasting lightning using Stormbreaker towards Gorr the God Butcher as well. And we do end with this really funny moment with Zeus stripping Thor naked. And we do see Thor having tattoos on his back. And one of the things you can point out is that he has R.I.P. Loki on his back as well. So yeah, it will be pretty interesting to see like the origin of Thor's tattoos on his back as well. But yeah, overall, this film just looks incredibly fun. It looks really dark with Gorr the God Butcher. We're of course going to have the humorous moments with Thor, and we're of course going to have these great moments between all the characters, including Thor and Jane Foster as well. And I'm just really looking forward to this film. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below what you guys are most looking forward to during this film. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.